I still remember the exact moment my life fell apart. It wasn't loud or dramatic. No screaming, no throwing things across the room. It was quiet, like the sound of a rope snapping one fiber at a time, before finally giving way. Lisa and I had been together for 4 years. We met in college, survived long distance for a while, and when I finally proposed, I thought we had made it through the hard part. She was everything I had ever wanted. Kind, funny, beautiful. She had this way of making everyone feel comfortable, like you had known her forever. I trusted her completely. The wedding was only 3 months away, and we were in the thick of planning. Guest lists, venue decorations, catering tastings. It felt like our lives revolved around this one big day. I thought we were happy. Then, about a month ago, I started noticing small changes in her behavior. She was on her phone more than usual, quickly locking the screen whenever I walked into the room. She started going out with her friends more often, always brushing off details when I asked where they went. There was a distance between us that hadn't been there before, but I chalked it up to wedding stress. People always said planning a wedding could be overwhelming, and maybe that was all it was. One Friday night, she told me she was going to a girls' night with some friends from work. I was exhausted from my own long week and didn't think much of it. She kissed me goodbye, told me she loved me, and walked out the door like it was any other night. An hour later, my friend Mark called. "Hey man, are you home?" His voice sounded uneasy. "Yeah, what's up?" I asked, not thinking much of it. There was a long pause before he finally said, "I wasn't sure if I should tell you this, but I saw Lisa tonight." That got my attention. I sat up straighter. "Okay, and?" "She wasn't with her friends." A sick feeling started creeping up my spine. "Who was she with?" Mark hesitated again. "I don't know who the guy was, but they went into a swingers party together." I laughed, because it had to be a joke. Lisa wasn't into that kind of thing. She had been the one to bring up how much she valued monogamy, how she could never imagine being with anyone else. We had conversations about marriage, kids, our future. None of it involved open relationships or swinging. But Mark wasn't laughing. "I swear, man, I saw her go in with him. They looked close." "I know this is the last thing you want to hear, but I thought you should know." My stomach twisted into knots. I didn't know what to say. My brain kept trying to rationalize it. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe Mark saw someone who looked like her. Maybe there was an explanation. But deep down, I already knew. I thanked him for telling me, hung up, and sat there for a long time, staring at the floor. Then, before I even fully decided to, I grabbed my keys and drove. The place wasn't far, just outside of town. It was a house, large and secluded, known for hosting private parties. I had never been there before, never had a reason to. But now I sat parked across the street, watching people come and go. Some were dressed in elegant evening wear, others in far less. Then I saw her. Lisa walked out with a man I had never seen before. They weren't holding hands, but they might as well have been. She was smiling, laughing at something he said, looking at him like she used to look at me. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't being forced. She was completely comfortable. I couldn't move. My hands tightened around the steering wheel, my breathing shallow. This was real. It wasn't a mistake. I drove home in a daze. My head was buzzing, my body on autopilot. When I walked into our apartment, everything felt different. The framed pictures on the wall, the invitations stacked neatly on the counter, the wedding dress hanging in the closet. Everything suddenly felt like a lie. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, replaying the image of her walking out of that house with another man. I thought about all the little signs I had ignored, all the nights she had gone out with friends, all the times she had been just a little too secretive with her phone. By morning, I knew what I had to do. I packed a bag, canceled the wedding venue, the caterer, the honeymoon. I called my boss and took an indefinite leave of absence. Then I turned off my phone, left it on the nightstand, and walked out the door without a single word. For a week, I stayed in a motel 2 towns over, ignoring everything. Then I got a new phone, a new number, and disappeared completely. Lisa must have realized something was wrong by the second or third day. The messages started piling up. Hey, where are you? I'm getting worried. Then, can we please talk? Then, I know you found out. That was the one that did it. No excuses, no explanations, just confirmation. I never answered. I never went back. I don't know what she tells people now. Maybe she paints me as the villain, the guy who ran away from our wedding for no reason. Maybe she tells them the truth. Either way, it doesn't matter. Because that life, that version of my future, it doesn't exist anymore.